you know, the bottom line is everybody is scared of the banks. They're scared that our people, we're going to catch on to what's going down as far as financial institutions. Yeah, so I have several documents that actually show how much Senator Inouye was in favor of Native Americans having their own bank. And that stemmed from the special trustee that was appointed by President Clinton, who was Paul Holman. And Paul Holman was an ex-regulator for the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. He was a senior advisor for about 17 years. And just to put that in too, he was the one that helped us put together a Native Hawaiian Bank plan. Well, Paul Holman's job was to find out what was the problem with the mismanagement of the Indians' trusts, the trust funds. And there was two things, and pretty much similar to what we're going through. The first thing was that institutional barriers existed that made it impossible for the agencies to operate.
Access their funding.
Yeah, access their
right,
funding, having accounting, all the
right.
red tape and all that. And so that was the problem. And the solution to that problem, recommended by Paul Holman, was that they create a Native American bank. Real simple, you know. And so when you mirror that with what's going on with us as Native Hawaiians, at least our funds are allocated, you know, to benefit our social conditions. You know, Kamehameha schools, education, Queen Lili'u, the community, our children, Queen Emma, Queen Kapiolani, the health, our kupuna, Luna Lila home, OHA, economic development, Department of Hawaiian Homelands, land, houses, shelter. And so these trust agencies make it a little bit more unique regarding our funds and our wealth, I would call. Like I said, you know, I believe there's over probably even over $10 billion total cash and assets that we have as Native Hawaiians. We are beneficiaries of. And so why can't that be in our own bank? We could turn around and do so much community development projects and programs. They're talking about $70 million from the federal government in you know, funding. I call the highest form of welfare. We could basically take care of our own. Talk about self-determination and economic self-determination, even social self-determination.
Yeah, you know, if I can interrupt, on his webpage, which I encourage all of you to look at, it says under Akaka Bill, highest form of government, in parentheses, welfare programs, and on the Native Hawaiian Bank side, on the right to that, it says, in quote, economic self-determination, sufficiency, and sustainability. The Akaka Bill offers economic dependency, and the Native Hawaiian Bank offers economic independence. So I think this is really well written and interesting. You know, it's really an interesting topic, and people need to not be afraid of it. They need to want to learn about it and understand and trust that banks are a part of this society. There's no reason why we can't have one of our own. I'm all in favor for this kind of empowerment.
Why are we scared, yeah? Why are our people scared of looking that way? And I think it's just...
And part of it is we have been wards of the state too long.
Yeah.
You know, many Hawaiians are too comfortable just waiting to see what kind of handout will come along, and that we just don't want to be like that anymore. We don't want to teach our children to be like that. You know, Ale, it's so not my ka'i to do that. For example, I can use an example of the Native Hawaiian Leadership Project. You know, we were well funded by the federal government, and we were grateful to the hard work of Inouye staff and whoever else helped us to secure funding for scholarship for post-secondary education. But every 3 years, like anybody else who's in this population of grant writers, you have to write a grant, you have to ask the federal government of America, will you please give us more money? Now we had a completely successful program. You know, we graduated many students that would not have been able to go to college or get master's degrees, PhDs, doctorates, etc. And unfortunately, when we went to the door with our handout saying, well, come on, you know, look at the statistics, the numbers are great, we're doing our job, we're working really hard. And it's arbitrary. It's like, well, no, you're not going to get the money. Now, what makes people think that just because we have the Akaka bill, suddenly some great God over there is going to say, oh, okay, now you can have the money. Look, we don't even have those protections. And they took away, you know, the funding, almost 600 scholarships for college kids, Hawaiian kids. And what's interesting, too, with this latest education, the Native Hawaiian Education Act appropriations, there aren't any scholarships for higher education. Now, and maybe I can clarify, there's 25. And those 25 are specific to kids who are getting a college degree and their major is Hawaiian language. And that's my ka'i. But from 600 a year to 25, what are they trying to tell us? That all the Hawaiians that need to get college education are already taken care of? Is that what they're trying to say? See, the power lies with the wrong people. The power lies with Department of Education way up on the East Coast somewhere. I don't even know these po'ehaole, but they're deciding for us what the priorities should be. Yep. So that kind of frustration where we don't even have a say in how we're going to take resources and allocate them, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I think we really do have a vehicle to make us economically self-sufficient. Yeah, and so we need to learn more about it.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. Just indulge ourselves into really, what is this all about? What is guy Bumpy talking about? You know, really, it's something that each and every one as Hawaiians, we got to go out and claim that. Just like how we're going to claim our political rights. We have an economic right to this wealth, and it's tangible. It's something that we actually can go out and grab. This is what the status quo is afraid of. And me, I don't think, not so much our agencies and our trusts, they don't know any better. You know, I had a meeting with somebody that we all know in the Hawaiian community, and he's pretty well known, pretty famous in the Hawaiian community. And you know, I talked to him about this trust bank, you know, setting up a trust bank. And my whole thing to him was, we got to protect the funds. We got to protect the money. The trusts are like, right now, is like hanging on threads.
That's right.
And it's not the trust and our programs that's at stake. It's the money that is pumped into these programs. It's stuff that exists today that may be in jeopardy. But when all is said and done, on the opposing side, the bank's going to end up the one sitting pretty. Why? Because as long as the funds are in that bank, it's making money every minute of the day. It's always making money. And this is what we got to go back, and this is what we got to claim, because that's ours. That's ours. I don't have any more, or mano, or every Hawaiian that we, you know, that exists, don't have any more than the next person. We all have an equal, undivided interest. How come we're not claiming that? You know, grant that the political status is on the table. It's been fought about for a long time, over 100 years, because we got to go back to when the resistance first started, back in, you know, the overthrow days.
You've done an excellent thing, which really was interesting on your website, and anybody who's interested in the website, it's bumpykanahele.com. So I encourage you to look at it.